Y'all look at me. Y'all look me in the eye. This Saturn nigga gotta die. Okay? Bro, this is Brook, Usopp, Nami, Zeus, and Chopper defending one attack from Saturn. And y'all don't want to get them props for that. They shouldn't be able to do that. Now I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to paint the picture for y'all so I can give my boy Sanji some love. I don't ever want to make it seem like I'm just showing love to this nigga. Cause I fuck with this nigga too. So when I first read that, I kind of assumed the five elders just because he said the ones. So I quickly switched that idea to the straw hats. This is what I settled on though after I saw the official translation. Not only do I got a few theories about that fucking hole that was created about Lelouch. We have never had anything like that in the real world. The closest we have had, you can see that the ocean floor has sunk. All right, what's going on, y'all? Nigga is back. I told y'all fuck niggas I would be back. Y'all ain't have to be fuck niggas. I ain't have to say that. But I told y'all I would be back. You know what I'm saying? I used to cap y'all down. No, I don't usually cap y'all down. I done did it a few times. But, you know, sometimes when I say we got some shit to talk about, I cap y'all down. But who would there be YouTuber? Y'all niggas, not me. So we talking 11-13. And my first initial topic, what we got to talk about, what we just got to get out the way. Y'all look at me. Y'all look me in the eye. This Saturn nigga gotta die. Okay? This nigga gotta die. It's really just that simple. This nigga has to go. Like, this nigga said he refuses to go out like Clover. Then he tried to re-spark up Robin PTSD later in the chapter. If Oda go goddamn take his time with the deaths and give them all the deaths they deserve, he gotta let that nigga die last and he gotta die slow. But if he just gonna get him out the way real quick, then I want him to die first. Another thing I wanted to talk about. The Straw Hats locking the fuck in. My man's King D Rich made a good ass point. Nigga say, y'all spent all art complaining about the Straw Hats not, you know what I'm saying, they not looking like a Yonko crew, they not, you feel me? And in the moment that they get some feats against the five elder, which one, this panel I'm looking at, y'all. I'm gonna just put it on the screen. This panel I'm looking at, bro, this is Brook, Usopp, Nami, Zeus, and Chopper defending one attack from Saturn. And y'all don't want to get them props for that. They shouldn't be able to do that. Like, I don't understand how that downscales Saturn. But hey. Agenda go agenda. I'm just saying that shit don't make no sense to me. I think we should upscale the Straw Hats personally. I'm with D Rich. But that's enough on that topic. Next one I want to talk about is Bonnie being a crackhead, bro. Like, this shit, it's amazing, bro. Last chapter, she turned the nigga into a kid, kicked the fuck out his ass. This chapter, like, she get Omo and Kashi to hold Nesjuro down after the debacle, the motherfucking debacle with Sanji. She was holding that, and she destroyed the future giant. Step on the nigga, like, I'll take it. Like, she's really a, you know what I'm saying? She really a crackhead with her powers, and I fuck with it. I really do. Then boom, we have this Sanji and Nesjuro feat. I said these out of order, but it doesn't fucking matter. Y'all niggas read the chapter and y'all watched the last video. Last chapter we saw that Sanji is around the bottom of the Fabrio phase, or the bottle that the Fabrio phase comes out of, or the Labo phase comes out of. I don't know what the fuck that specific building is called, but it's the bottle-shaped building that the Labo, like the smoke clouds from the Labo phase come out. The one that's in the middle of. This was the last chapter. This was chapter 11. That's in the middle of the Fabrio phase, right? Sanji was carrying Vegapunk, and he was right there. And Bonnie and Frankie are at the ship, like, they're confronting that Vice Admirals at the ship, right? That was the last time we got an update on their position. Sanji, like I said, is trailing behind. He notices, like, now I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to paint the picture for y'all so I can give my boy Sanji some love. I don't ever want to make it seem like I'm just showing love to this nigga, cause I fuck with this nigga too. Where he at? You know what I'm saying? I fuck with my boy. Damn, that light bright as shit. But yeah, Sanji, he's a ways away. I won't say that he was all the way by the middle of the Fabrio phase, because he is fast as shit and he closed the distance a little bit. But Nesjiro is in the middle of his sword swing. Sanji's across, you know what I'm saying, at least across the panel, at least across the distance. He's looking down, you know what I'm saying. It's some meters. And he gets there, blocks the attack, and kicks the nigga in the chin before the shit lands. And we know he is speedster. Like I say, I just gotta point it out. I gotta give my boy some gas. Good speed feed by Sanji. My boy is doing what he do, protecting the women, protecting the girls. Real shit. Shout out to that boy. And then he got crunchitized the next pack. I'm just speaking the fact. Don't get mad at me. Cause the nigga got crunchitized. I just gave y'all niggas a whole speech about showing that nigga love. I want to show that nigga love. It's not my fault Zoro ain't get crunchitized and that nigga got crunchitized, okay? He got crunchitized. Next panel, and this is not agenda. It's what happened. The very next panel, the nigga got crunchitized. I'm sorry. Now, let's get to the meat of the video. Let's talk about the real shit. You know what I'm saying? Got all that shit out the way. Let's talk about this message, this Vegapunk message to the world, this broadcast. We finally we're done with the 10-minute countdown, and we get some meat behind this shit. And I don't even think the meat, I think we started I think we started getting like the actual substance of the broadcast before he even said, like, you know what I'm saying, what's gonna happen to the world. I think the first bit of, or not even substance, but just stuff we need to talk about. I think the first thing we need to talk about is this line right here. In TCB, it reads as, I want to make one thing clear, and I pray you understand this. Please do not assume that the ones who strike me down are evil, regardless of who they seem to be. In the official translation, it reads as, I want to make one thing very clear first. Whoever may have rendered their judgment, there's no upon. Unto me, I am not trying to convince you that their intent is evil. So I think the only difference you can draw kind of between the two translations is that in the official one, he may be talking about a sole individual, but in the TCB, he clearly said the ones. So when I first read that, I kind of assumed the 5 elders just because he said the ones. But as I just got to thinking, it just didn't really make sense. Like, he knows what really is evil in this world. Like, I know he's coming from a standpoint of, I've done a lot of fucked up things, so morally I can't really judge and say who's evil and who's not. But I know that he knows that Saturn, like, his morals are even worse than his. So I don't think he would be, it's not that I think that he would be so quick to judge somebody, because like I just said, he has his own moral like battle going on inside himself, and I don't think he really wants to put an evil label on anybody because of his regrets. But I do think that he wouldn't be the person to jump to defend the 5 elders. I don't think that he would be the person to get that message across. So I quickly switched that idea to the Straw Hats, right? When I still had the TCB translation in mind. I quickly switched that idea to the Straw Hats. I'm thinking, okay, he's probably, because I mean, he is the smartest man in the world, and if I can predict that Big News Morgan is gonna make the newspaper say that the Straw Hats killed Vegapunk, he can predict that. You know what I mean? So he's probably trying to, I was thinking he might be trying to, just soften the blow for Luffy type shit, like. Because, obviously he fuck with the Straw Hats. You know how the shit goes every arc. Like, general public don't be knowing what the fuck going on for real. They think, this nigga Luffy just was in that bitch terrorizing shit. Well, really, he was liberating. We gonna say liberizing, because liberating don't rhyme with terrorizing. God damn, what the fuck is a terrorize? Anyways, this is what I settled on, though, after I saw the official translation. He might be talking about Kizaru, but it's just like the general public wouldn't know, in my opinion, unless it got out some kind of way, either through this broadcast. There's one thing that I really want him to do in this broadcast, which would be fucking crazy and would prove that he really is the smartest nigga. Well, he is the smartest nigga in the world, but this would just be like some smartest nigga in the world shit for sure. If he just be like, yeah, and let me show y'all who behind the scenes for real, and he just, like, it's just like a live camera, and he just put a live camera on fucking the 5 elders, and they just demons running around. Like, would that not be wild? Like, that shit would be crazy. Like, but also if he did that, oh damn, what was I just talking? Oh, also if he did that, I guess that's kind of a way that would show that the Straw Hats didn't kill him, so they would know that it was Kizaru. So that's kind of the only way, because I'm not gonna lie, in the official translation, it reads like he's talking about who he knows is coming to get him, which I assume he would he would assume is Kizaru. It's Kizaru, but you never know. But the only way that would be a viable theory in my eyes is if he was to do what I said, what I say I hope he does, which is cut the camera on Egghead real quick. Like, yeah, look, these niggas came to get me. Look at these niggas. Like, get these niggas type shit. But you never know. Never know what he do. But I do think he's talking about Kizaru. It's either Kizaru or the Straw Hats. All right. Now let's get into and we also have one last thing I want to talk about. This nigga ought to be on social media, bro. Cause maybe I'm reading too much into it. But this panel where we go back to Syrup Village and we see Kaya and you know what I'm saying, and Usopp Youngins at the table and shit. He like, why don't put on some tea? Why don't spill some tea? Like, why don't put on some tea? Like, y'all niggas know what's going on right now in the story. Like, that nigga Kermit sipping that mug, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, let's talk about this fucking flood. Let's talk about this the world will sink. Is it a different translation for that? I don't think there's a different translation for that. In TCB it says our world is gonna sink into the ocean, and Shonen Jump it says the world as we know it will sink into the sea. So yeah, same translation. It's going to sink. It's not even gonna flood. It's going to sink, right? Which it could sink by flooding, but that hasn't been specified yet. So obviously, like, if you know what I'm saying, if you haven't skipped arcs or chapters or anything, and you saw that, the first thing you get to thinking of would probably be Water 7, Aqua Laguna. But I don't really think this has anything to do with Aqua Laguna. I don't think it has anything to do with Aqua. Well, I think Aqua Laguna. Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. I think Aqua Laguna may be somewhat a byproduct of what I'm about to get into, but I don't think that this phenomena to be exact, that Vegapunk is talking about right now is the same thing as the Aqua Laguna phenomena, or even like what happened over time in Wano. But it might be, and this is what I'm thinking. Now, y'all see, I said Water 7, I said Wano. You're probably like, this nigga forgot about Lelouch. No, I think that it is. Not only do I got a few theories about that fucking hole that was created about Lelouch. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk. I did a little researching. One, I want to say we have never had anything like that in the real world. The closest we have had is a sinkhole in Belize called the Great Blue Hole, but it's not necessarily I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on, let me switch to my other scene. It's not necessarily like a hole on top of the surface though. That's the thing. You see what I mean? Like, it's more, you can see that the ocean floor has sunk. So you can, from up top, you can see, like you see here, you can see that there's a hole, you know what I'm saying? And that there's like less floor here than da 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 da. But what's different about this hole and the hole in One Piece, because this is not far from the surface of the ocean in the grand scheme of things. If y'all know how deep the ocean really is, this isn't far from the surface of the ocean at all. And the hole in One Piece is literally smack on the water. But the difference is there's another floor. I think the hole in One Piece goes straight to the floor. Like, this hole has a floor to it, and then there's a floor underneath that, and layers and shit. You know what I mean? Like well, y'all may or may not have known what I mean. You would have to like research about the ocean. But to give y'all a little context, in December 2018, 2 submarines descended into the blue hole and attempted to map its interior. Using sonar scanning, the team was nearly able to complete a 3D map, which is this that my mouse is on the right. And they found bodies at the bottom of the hole, right? At a depth of 300 feet. That's not as deep as the ocean goes, you know? So that's not the ocean floor. I feel like in One Piece, that hole goes to the ocean floor, which is a completely different thing. And I feel like the reason that the water is rising as a byproduct of that is because once that water hits the ocean floor, there's no, I feel like it just creates a reverse current at the bottom because there's nowhere for it to flow. And I think, like, I don't think the currents that were surrounding Lelouch or under Lelouch just disappeared. They're just lower. You know what I mean? Also, in my goddamn browsing of the webs, I found a little theory. You know what I'm saying? I found a little theory, and it's a One Piece Reddit theory, my nigga. We know how credible those are. You know what I'm saying? You take it with a grain of salt, but it just gives you something to think about. This is his thoughts on the Lelouch situation. So the holes in the ocean do not lead anywhere, and this is from Sean Dewhurst in the One Piece Theory Reddit. So the holes in the ocean do not lead anywhere. Despite water falling in, there's nowhere for it to actually drain. Currents further down must be carrying the water away from the hole, just as the surface currents are flowing inward. And the water that would otherwise be filling that column is now spread over the rest of the ocean, raising the sea level. Right? So, like I said, currents at the bottom, they didn't go anywhere. Like they had in my eyes and in his eyes. The currents at the bottom, they shouldn't have gone anywhere. They should still be carrying that water in the ways that they're carrying it. And since that there's nowhere for it to drain to, there's really nowhere, like the water's gonna sink in and cycle back out. And what I feel like is happening in the One Piece world is more water is cycling back out. But how does that raise the sea level around the world, right? How does that raise the sea level around the world? Let's get through the rest of his theory real quick, or rest of his thoughts on the Lelouch situation, and then I'll get to how I feel like that raised the water around the world. There's no explanation for the waterfall effect. Some force may be pushing water downwards at the edge of the hole or away from it somewhere further down. Maybe an outwards force which is at equilibrium near sea level and becomes disproportionately strong as it goes. It is like the Enies Lobby hole. Since this was a test, the world government probably did not create the Enies Lobby hole first. An exception might be if they did do it, but exhausted or disabled whatever causes the hole and needed Vegapunk to refuel or repair it. If they did do that, it would have been a long time ago. If Enies Lobby was caused by the same thing as a new hole, then the world government had a long time to study the effect. Which is why I said I don't think Aqua Laguna is related to what? I'm about to get it through for y'all boys. I don't think Aqua Laguna is directly related to why I say or why I think the world is gonna flood, but it's the same kind of phenomena. I think they had a super weapon. I for some reason I just don't think it was the Mother Flame or it was a prototype. Correction. After a little conversation, a delegation of sorts, if you will, with my fellow One Piece enjoyers that I converse with regularly, and after watching a specific Joy Boy Theories video, I have adopted the more common way of thinking that the Mother Flame, which I don't know why was. I mean, this is obvious, kind of damn near. Well, it could end up not being this way, but this is most likely what it is. The Mother Flame powers Uranus. I think what happened in Enies Lobby was the actual Mother Flame or whatever, like that when they used the actual Mother Flame, and then now is the inconclusive or the Mother Flame that Vegapunk created that he failed at, which Vegapunk failing is not really failing. But yeah, like it was an incomplete Mother Flame or something. But I think they had a super weapon, a nuke, and they blew up something near Enies Lobby, whatever the fuck, and that's what's going on in Aqua Lagoon. But I think the way that the world was synced, because like the only time we've been shown a drastic increase in the water is Aqua Laguna by the hole and Lelouch. So what I think is nobody knows the Mother Flame and the ins and outs of that weapon and the science behind it, and honestly the ins and outs of the world and how any weapon would affect the environment, much less one that he built better than Vegapunk. I think he knows that every time that they use the Mother Flame, it's just going to be like, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be exponential growth too. I don't think it's gonna be linear. I don't think it's like every time they use the Mother Flame, the water will raise 100 meters, or just to throw out a number, 100 meters. I think it'll be 100 meters one time, 250 one time, 400 the next time, because I think the more holes you create, the bigger that problem get. And I think that's why they're in Mary Joie, because they know. Well, I feel like I was reaching there, because they had to have been in Mary Joie way before he started developing that weapon. But I think that's why they don't give a fuck, is because they're in Mary Joie. They're like, whatever happens down there at ocean level, at sea level, that shit really doesn't matter to us, my nigga. So we'll see in this next chapter, y'all. I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. Like, this nigga Oda, he got the gloves off. He got the gloves off, and we are all confused. We're all confused. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. how is the world gonna sink, bro? Is the red line this is the last thing I wanted to talk about. If somebody was to do away with the red line, what would that another thing I wanted to say. It's so cool how the people who went and learned all the secrets of the world, like Rayleigh, Crocus, you gotta look how they live. Well, Crocus living in a well, Rayleigh, he coached ships. Y'all may not have seen that circulating the internet. I had that thought as soon as I seen the chapter. I swear to God. I'm like, nigga, that's attention to detail. That's attention to detail. Oda knew the world was gonna sink for a long time because the only two people living from the Pirate King crew, look what they doing. That's attention to detail. But last thing I want to talk about is this is my one last possibility for I'm not saying that this is the last possible way it could happen. It could Oda do whatever the fuck he want. This is just the last way I see it happen. My one last possibility I see is if the red line is destroyed. But the thing is, the red line has to be destroyed anyway. But that might be could that be what causes the flood? I don't see that causing the flood though. Like when you destroy, if there was a dam built around the world and you destroyed it, would that cause a flood? That might it would even out the levels. So if okay, say one half of the Grand Line, like, you know what I'm saying, their sea level is lower than another half or another half of the world that lives on the other side of the red line, whatever. If they destroyed the red line and it was a situation like that, then the people on the side with the lower sea level who live with a lower sea level, they might get flooded. But that's not what he said. He said this world will sink into the ocean. You feel what I'm saying? So I think it's gonna be weapon spamming. I think they're gonna spam the fuck out the weapon, and it's not even gonna take long because it's gonna be an exponential growth type of situation, and that shit just gonna get bad for the niggas. That's my personal opinion. But hey, like I said, it could be anything. I will see y'all in a few days though. What's today? I'm dropping this on Wednesday, so I will see y'all in about 4 or 5 days. You know what I'm saying? And we will have a new chapter to react to, and we'll have even more shit to talk about. We'll have to go even deeper. I feel like we didn't really go deep today. We just kind of learned a little bit about water and coals, but we gonna go deeper next week because I hope he reveals why the world was sinking to the ocean. But who knows? Oda like to play with us, reveal shit whenever he wants to, which is his right. See y'all boys later, man. Y'all niggas have a good one. Or gals.
It's kinda hard to say I'm having one, cause I done gave so many.